Kayamkulam Kochunni, a name that struck terror across the 19th century, the identity of a man feared as a ruthless highwayman and calculating murderer. This map of 19th century India highlights the kingdom of Travancore. If we look specifically at the southern coastal region, we find the territory where this legend was born and where he built his reputation. Yet the official lore contains a striking historical record. The people who lived in his shadow documented this feared criminal as a man of radical honesty, fierce loyalty, and a desperate provider for the destitute. This leads to a question that hangs over the historical record. How does a starving, truthful boy transform into Kerala's most lethal and beloved criminal mastermind? To find the answer, we have to look past the myth of the simple villain and examine a person shaped by absolute deprivation. Born into a family so poor they faced literal starvation whenever Abay's theft failed, Kochunni's childhood ended early. At age 10, he left home and bagged a local Brahmin grocer for work, eventually settling for simple bowls of rice gruel in exchange for labor. This photograph shows the turbulent waters of the Kerala coast. It was here that a young Kochunni, despite having no training, took the helm of his employer's cargo boat during a massive storm and successfully navigated it to safety. He possessed a rare physical intuition, and he knew he needed to sharpen it. Every night, he snuck out to watch a local master secretly teach combat and agility to a select group of students. When the Thongal eventually caught him spying, Kochunni was forced to demonstrate what he had learned. In a shocking display of self-taught skill, he outmatched the master's own hand-picked disciples. His training soon collided with his job. Needing to fulfill a customer's order while the shop was locked, Kochunni used his new skills to scale a massive compound wall and steal jaggery from his own employer's stores to complete the sale. The store owner paid Kochunni his wages, handed him a bonus, and immediately dismissed him. He told the boy he was simply too capable and too dangerous to keep behind a counter. For the first time, his exceptional talent and his loyalty were treated not as virtues, but as liabilities. Thrust back into starvation and rejected by the merchant class, Kochunni looked for a way to survive. He made a calculated decision. He would embrace organized crime, but he would do so on his own terms. This diagram illustrates his operational logic. He targeted the hoarding elite, demanding a contribution. Cooperate and they were left in peace. Refuse and they were marked for a raid. Within 4 days, Kochunni's crew would dismantle the estate, shattering the owner's hoarded wealth. But Kochunni's methods were unusual. He kept almost nothing for himself. The money and goods taken from the wealthy flowed directly to his impoverished neighbors and friends. His criminal enterprise effectively acted as a shadow welfare state. Local beggars under his protection were transformed into stable, relatively wealthy citizens. By extracting resources from those who hoarded them and delivering them to those with nothing, Kochunni was enforcing a moral balance in a society that offered no other path for the vulnerable. The state, unable to catch him through traditional means, resorted to a bribe. A local official, the Tahsildar, paid Kochunni's lover to drug him. She served him milk spiked with a heavy sedative. As he fell into a stupor, state police swarmed the house, bound him in heavy iron chains, and threw him into a dungeon. A master of physical leverage, he used his martial training and sheer strength in the night until he shattered the iron that bound him. He didn't just escape, he went back for the people who sold him out. He tracked his lover and her accomplice to their home and beheaded them both instantly. This act of vengeance finalized the legend. It proved that his moral code was absolute. He rewarded loyalty with his life, and he met betrayal with sudden, final violence. Following the double murder, Kochunni vanished into the landscape. For the next 18 years, he remained a ghost, operating as an uncatchable fugitive despite every effort by the state. His reign was eventually broken not by force, but by a new Diwan who systematically turned Kochunni's own gang members against him, dismantling the network from within. We look back at the image of the honest thief, now through the lens of a man who spent nearly 2 decades navigating the edges of a world that left him no room to exist within its center. Kayamkulam Kochunni's legacy remains that of a man who, when denied justice by his own society, spent his life enforcing a law of his own making.